In the top stories, work is continuing on the national plan to phase out harmful cooling gases. Jamaica moving to renegotiate its long-running medical program with Cuba, and civil rights leader Jesse Jackson has died at the age of 84. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. Today's Tuesday, the 17th of February 2026. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, through the Department of Environment's National Ozone Unit, has held a week of activities aimed at advancing a plan to phase out hydrofluorocarbons. Held from February 2 to 6, the engagement supported the Federation's commitment under the Montreal Protocol to phase out hydrofluorocarbons. The activity began with a briefing at the ministry's secretariat between Senator Dr. Joel Clark, Minister of Environment, Climate Action and Constituency Empowerment, National Ozone Officer Colleen Latham, and National Consultant Tom Baby. Discussions focused on the Federation's current status regarding hydrofluorocarbons and a roadmap for phasing out these gases. A stakeholder consultation was also held at CUNA building in Basse-Terre, bringing together refrigeration and air conditioning technicians along with public and private sector representatives, including the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, TDC, and the hospitality industry. Participants provided input to help shape the framework of the plan so it reflects local conditions and industry needs. Officials say the plan will support the sustainable island state agenda by promoting cleaner cooling technologies, strengthening the refrigeration and air conditioning sector through training and standards, and protecting key industries such as fisheries and tourism. A draft will now be circulated for further review, followed by another consultation to address licensing, quality, and safety standards within the sector. Second and third year CAPE Chemistry Unit 2 students from the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College have been getting a first-hand look at science in action. The students recently toured the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards, where they were introduced to the agency's advanced multipurpose laboratories and technical services. The visit formed part of their academic development, giving the class practical exposure to how scientific principles are applied outside of the classroom. During the tour, students observed specialized testing equipment and procedures used to ensure product quality and public safety across the Federation. Officials also demonstrated how laboratory analysis supports national standards, product testing, and regulatory compliance in a range of industries. The Bureau says it continues to welcome educational institutions seeking hands-on learning opportunities for students in quality infrastructure, laboratory science, and standards development. It added that initiatives like these help connect classroom learning with national industry needs while encouraging the next generation to pursue careers in science and technology. History has been made in St. Kitts and Nevis with the successful completion of the Federation's first ever Lego League after-school program. The initiative, led by the St. Kitts and Nevis Robotics Association, engaged primary school students in designing, building, and programming Lego robots. Students worked in teams to solve real-world mission challenges and present their ideas, demonstrating creativity, innovation, and resilience. Republic Bank was acknowledged for providing support for the pilot through its Power to Make a Difference program. Organizers say the program has laid a strong foundation for expanding robotics and STEM education across schools in the Federation. Moving now to news on the regional scene. Jamaica is renegotiating its long-standing medical cooperation program with Cuba amid pressure from the United States. Although the previous agreement has expired, nearly 300 Cuban doctors and specialists remain in the country under existing contracts. Health Minister Christopher Tufton says negotiations are ongoing, but no new memorandum has been signed, and specific requests from Jamaica have not been disclosed. The program, running for over 50 years, has trained hundreds of Caribbean doctors and remains a pillar of the public health system. The United States continues to criticize Cuba's overseas medical missions, alleging forced labor, while Caribbean leaders defend the program as vital for the region's healthcare needs. In Guyana, Principal Magistrate Judy Latchman has withdrawn an arrest warrant against U.S. indicted businessman and opposition leader Azruddin Mohammed. The warrant was issued on Monday when Mohammed arrived late to his extradition committal proceedings. The magistrate warned that any future delays could result in his bail being revoked. Mohammed arrived about 30 minutes late and apologized, prompting the court to temper justice with mercy. The case will resume on February 18 at 9 a.m. Internationally, U.S. civil rights icon and political leader Jesse Jackson has died peacefully at the age of 84, his family confirms. A protege of Martin Luther King Jr., Jackson fought for equality and the voiceless across America and the world. He ran twice for the Democratic presidential nomination and later served as an elder statesman within the party. Tributes have poured in from leaders and activists, including U.S. President Donald Trump, who called him a force of nature, and House Democrats leader Hakeem Jeffries, who described him as a legendary voice for the voiceless. Jackson's family remembers him as a servant leader who elevated millions through his advocacy, voter mobilization, and political organizing. Public observances will be held in Chicago, with details to be released by the Rainbow Push Coalition. And finally, on the international scene, Russian and Ukrainian delegations have met in Geneva for the third round of U.S.-brokered talks, ahead of the fourth anniversary of Moscow's full-scale invasion. Expectations for a breakthrough remain low, as Russia has not changed its demands for Ukrainian territory. Strikes continue nightly across Ukraine, damaging power infrastructure and leaving thousands without energy amid freezing temperatures. At least 3 people were killed in recent attacks, with more injured. Tuesday's talks are mediated by U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Ukraine is represented by National Security Council Secretary Rustem Umerov and President Zelensky's Chief of Staff Kirill Budanov, while Russia includes President Putin's aide Vladimir Medinsky and military intelligence figures. Kiev insists on strong Western security guarantees before any settlement, while Russia occupies roughly 20% of Ukrainian territory. Ukraine has also launched strikes on Russian infrastructure, including an oil refinery in Krasnodar and power installations in Belgorod. The talks follow last month's trilateral meeting in Abu Dhabi, which ended with a breakthrough, though prisoner exchanges did take place. And now for a look at the weather. Conditions across St. Kitts and Nevis are fair at this hour. Winds are light, blowing from the east at about 6 miles per hour. Seas are moderate with waves of 3 to 6 feet, and a small craft advisory remains in effect. As the day continues, expect partly sunny skies with about a 40% chance of passing showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a 20% chance of a few brief showers. Sunset will be at 6:14 p.m., sunrise tomorrow at 6:35 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Davis.